In our skies, Venus shines brighter than any planet. A brilliant, silvery beacon just before sunrise or after sunset, long called the morning star or evening star. From Earth, it glows with serene majesty, hinting at something beautiful, something Earth-like. But that glow conceals a world that couldn't be more different. Beneath its elegant brilliance lies a planet shaped by catastrophe, fire, and toxic storms. Venus is a pressure cooker of carbon dioxide, cloaked in clouds of sulfuric acid, heated by a runaway greenhouse effect that turned a once temperate planet into a boiling inferno. And yet, against all odds, that same world is now being considered for human settlement. Not on the surface, where conditions are utterly hostile, but above the clouds, where science fiction begins to meet science fact. Engineers and visionaries have started to explore a radical concept, constructing floating cities high in Venus's atmosphere. Suspended in a narrow band of habitable air, these cities wouldn't just survive, they could thrive. Protected from radiation, powered by constant sunlight, and shielded by Venus's own dense skies, they represent one of the most plausible off-Earth colonization ideas in our solar system. It sounds impossible, even absurd. Venus, the hottest planet, the most toxic? But at 50 kilometers above its surface, a quiet miracle happens. The conditions become Earth-like. And in that fragile layer, just thick enough to cradle hope, lies a question that reaches far beyond technology. Could Venus be our environmental escape, not just from Earth's future, but from our mistakes? Venus wasn't always a furnace. In fact, billions of years ago, it may have had oceans, clouds of water, even a temperate climate. In many ways, it likely started just like Earth. But over time, Venus suffered a chain reaction of climate collapse. It's believed that intense volcanic activity released vast amounts of CO2. Without water to absorb that carbon, it remained in the atmosphere, trapping heat. The oceans boiled away. The sky thickened. Temperatures soared. Venus became a runaway greenhouse and stayed that way. The result is a planet with a surface temperature of 465 degrees Celsius, hot enough to melt lead. The atmospheric pressure is over 90 times that of Earth, equivalent to standing beneath a kilometer of ocean. Winds rage at over 300 kilometers per hour, and its clouds rain sulfuric acid. For scientists, Venus is more than just a planet. It's a case study in climate apocalypse, a living reminder of what happens when a planet's carbon cycle spirals out of control. If Earth continues to pump carbon into the atmosphere without restraint, could we be facing a distant version of Venus's fate? Could our own home, blue, life-rich, and fragile, one day mirror this scorched world? And yet, not all of Venus is hell. Roughly 50 to 55 kilometers above the surface, the story changes. At this altitude, the atmospheric pressure is roughly 1 bar, the same as sea level on Earth. Temperatures fall to a comfortable 20 to 30 degrees Celsius. Here, despite the poisonous air, conditions are eerily Earth-like. In this narrow altitude band, a unique possibility emerges: aerostat habitats, enormous helium or air-filled structures that float like giant blimps in the Venusian sky. Because the planet's air is so dense, even breathable Earth air acts as a lifting gas. This makes human-scale floating cities physically feasible. Unlike Mars, with its deadly radiation and thin atmosphere, Venus offers natural protection. Its thick skies block harmful cosmic rays, making it safer for human life, at least from above. These floating habitats would be pressurized, shielded, and powered by sunlight. And on Venus, solar power is abundant. The planet is closer to the sun than Earth and reflects 70% of the sunlight it receives. With solar panels blanketing the tops of each structure, power wouldn't be a limiting factor. Inside, enclosed ecosystems could recycle water, air, and waste, creating sustainable, circular life support systems. Above the clouds, with golden light filtering through the haze, a new form of civilization could be born, not on the ground, but in the sky. NASA has already begun exploring the possibilities. Under the HAVOC concept, short for High Altitude Venus Operational Concept, engineers have outlined a step-by-step plan to explore and potentially inhabit Venus's atmosphere. The concept begins with robotic airships, followed by short-duration crewed missions, and eventually, long-term aerial habitats. The plan takes advantage of Venus's gravity, which is similar to Earth's, reducing the health issues of long-term microgravity on places like the Moon or Mars. And unlike Mars, Venus has a dense atmosphere, making entry and descent simpler with current technology. Parachutes and aerobraking become viable, reducing fuel needs and risk. In this vision, floating science labs orbit the atmosphere. Crews arrive for 30-day missions, conduct research on the planet's climate, geology, and upper clouds, then return home. Eventually, these temporary labs could grow into permanent platforms, tethered by science, economics, and perhaps necessity. The pursuit of Venusian cities isn't just about escaping Earth. It's about learning what it takes to survive anywhere, even on a planet that tried its best to die. Venus offers a unique opportunity to test technologies for closed-loop systems, sustainable farming, resource recycling, and human resilience. Venus also holds answers we desperately need. By studying the planet's climate history, scientists can better model Earth's own climate future. Why did Venus's oceans vanish? Could volcanic cycles have pushed it over the edge? What role did solar activity play? And most urgently, are we on the same path? If we understand how Venus failed, maybe we can prevent Earth from doing the same. And ironically, the same floating cities that help us study Venus could one day inspire technologies to preserve Earth through better insulation, more efficient solar energy, and waste-free ecosystems. Venus may not offer the wide landscapes of Mars or the romance of moon colonies, but it offers something rarer, a controlled, accessible, Earth-like environment in the most unexpected place. It doesn't need to be terraformed. It just needs to be understood. In the next century, as Earth's population grows and resources stretch thin, we'll look outward, not just for wonder, but for necessity. Mars will remain a target. Lunar bases will grow. But the Venusian sky might offer a surprising lifeline. And its value isn't just in colonization, it's in adaptation. Venus is a planet that failed, but also a planet that could teach us how to survive. Floating cities in the clouds may seem like fantasy now, but so did flight. So did satellites. So did landing on the moon. And the truth is, we already know how to do it. The only barrier is scale and the will to try. Venus, the once beautiful twin, now shrouded in poison and heat. But in the quiet band above its chaos, a second chance floats in golden light. Here, where the pressure is right and the warmth is soft, humanity could rise, not from conquest, but from humility. We don't need to change Venus. We need to learn from it. In floating cities high above the ruins of a failed world, we might just build a future that saves our own. Because the question isn't whether we can escape Earth. It's whether we can learn to never need to.